So we'll go ahead and move into our first question, which is just for the candidates to introduce themselves, share why they're running, and what they hope to accomplish in their first year if elected.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm a fifth-generation Washingtonian on my dad's side and a third-generation Washingtonian on my mom's side. I've lived in Washington my whole life except for when military service or college has taken me out of the state. I grew up in Wenatchee. I went to college at the University of Michigan first, and then I went to the University of Washington, where I graduated with an English degree. Because at first I thought I wanted to be a teacher, but when that fell through for me, I thought, what am I going to do with this English degree? And so naturally, it's law school. I went to Gonzaga, and I've been an attorney now for 26 years. I'm running because now it's a great opportunity. Greg is retiring, and so it's the first time in 32 years that this job is open. So if it's not now, then when, right? My experience in the military as a Navy JAG and a Coast Guard attorney has given me the unique leadership experience to lead the office. One of the biggest challenges coming forward with this office is going to be retaining all the necessary and helpful and talented personnel, both the attorneys and the staff. So it's going to be critical that we retain everybody because we're competing with all the other offices around the state, with the defense shops and with the prosecutors' offices.
What access to justice issues do you see on our local courts? And how would you address these issues if you were elected? Mr. Reiman, you have 60 seconds.
Thank you. So the biggest access to justice issues facing the local courts is that people with money have access to more and better options to resolve their cases. So what I mean by that is, if you have more resources, you can go out and get an evaluation. So if your case involves some sort of a substance use disorder, you can get the evaluation done ahead of time, and you can use that as part of your sentencing so that hopefully you can get a better deal. One of the other things too that having more money allows you to do here is you can afford to pay for the probation fees that are required for this thing that we call a stay of proceedings. So stay of proceedings is essentially a probation contract that allows you to do some treatment and other things to get your case dismissed. But those fines and fees are prohibitive for some people who can't afford to pay for them. And unfortunately, the court isn't willing to reduce those fines and fees.
There is a shortage of prosecuting attorneys throughout the state. Can you explain why that is the case and what you believe are the solutions to combating that shortage? How might Kittitas County best recruit prosecuting attorneys? Mrs. Sauer.
So we're getting fewer law school applicants, and we're also in more competition with those fewer graduates. So the law school graduates they have different options. They can go to law firms, they can go to defense shops, they can go to prosecutors' offices, they can do other things in the law, and we're competing for them. We're competing with other prosecutors' offices around the state that are offering bonuses. Yakima was offering a $20,000 bonus. Mason County was offering bonuses. I think Ponderay County was even offering bonuses. So that's a challenge for us. So the best way for us to not get in that competition is to keep the people that we have. Right now we're doing a great job with competitive pay. That wasn't always the case, but the Board of County Commissioners were able to raise the pay, and so I think we have a really great pay structure right now. And I think we'll continue to do that going forward.
Thank you, Mr. Reiman. What experiences have best prepared you to serve as the Kittitas County prosecuting attorney?
Thank you. So I'll point to three stops in my career. The most recent being I was the city prosecutor for the city of Ellensburg for the last 5 years, up until this last year, where recently I've been a public defender here in the county. Doing that job with the city of Ellensburg was a great experience. I prosecuted all the different cases that came through the city, all the non-felony cases. The other thing that has helped me to be prepared for this position is also My last job before that was with the city of Yakima. I was a prosecutor with the city of Yakima for about 10 years. And then before that, I was in the military. And one of my most recent positions in the Coast Guard was with the Disability Evaluations Board. When I came into that office, we were ranked as one of the lowest performing offices. And so I was able to partner with all the different people, identify the issues, identify the bottlenecks, use metrics to our advantage to try to get rid of the backload and do the best thing that we could to get healthy people back to the fleet so we could manage the cases better.
Thank you, Mr. Reiman. If money wasn't an issue, what would be your first act as the elected prosecutor? Mr. Reiman.
Hire more people. One of the biggest issues in an office of this size and with a workload like this is when you don't have enough people doing the job. You have the people that are there working more, working extra caseload, staying longer, getting burned out faster. So make sure you have enough people there that you can cover any contingency. So if you have vacations, you can make sure that those are covered. That if the workload is increased, you can make sure that that's covered. I guess what else I do next is make sure that we had extra support for victim services. I know the office already has a great victim support personnel there, but I know that's a tireless and thankless job. So getting more services and help in that position would only increase the communication and the effectiveness to support the people who are victims of crimes. Sorry, I saw the sign coming up. I think that's it. Thanks.
Mr. Reiman, thank you. What is your position on treatment courts in Kittitas County? And what role do you believe they should play in reducing crime and improving public safety? You have 60 seconds.
Thanks. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of the treatment courts, also called therapeutic courts. I was on the team that created the behavioral health court in district court. A story of, I guess, our process was our first person that we admitted into the treatment court. This was 4 years ago. Our first person, we were working through the issues with that person, and we, as a team, and there was like 8 or 9 of us on the team. Prosecutor, and I was a prosecutor at the time, prosecutor, defense attorney, housing specialist, mental health, substance use, judge, court staff, law enforcement, so all of us on the team. And this one person, our first person, just wasn't making the positive gains we thought the person should be making. And so we were all kind of down on ourselves. But we had a visitor that day from EPD, Ellensburg Police Department, who said, I don't know what you guys are doing, but whatever it is working. This person who was a known criminal, doing a lot of things, always a thorn in their side, wasn't committing new crimes. So we then sort of pat ourselves on the back and say, hey, we're doing something right.
We touched on it a little bit in the first section here, but the Kittitas County Prosecutor's Office has experienced significant attorney turnover in recent years. What would you do? What solutions would you have to improve the recruitment, retention, and workplace culture?
So if you vote for me, one of the things that I'll do right away is I believe it's important to meet with everybody. This is my plan to improve workplace culture. It's meet one-on-one with each person, talk to them, find out what their personal goals are, what their career goals are, see how me as a person, us as an office, how we can help that person meet their personal and professional goals. It's really important that each person believe that they're valued and seen as a great employee. We've all worked for good bosses and bad bosses, and we've taken something from each of them, the good things from the good ones, and we've learned the bad ones. Let's not do that. That's my plan, is to go in and talk to everybody and work to make everybody feel valued. For recruitment, I want to get out and partner with the law schools and go to career fairs and keep getting our name out there so that we can get the people to apply for our jobs.
Thank you, Mr. Do you believe that being tough on crime and compassionate are at the opposite ends of the same continuum? And how do you apply these considerations?
No, being tough on crime and being compassionate are not on other ends of the spectrum. So tough on crime, that's a phrase that we're all used to hearing, let's be tough on crime. That means different things to different people. To me, That means making sure that the people who commit crimes are held accountable. And what level of accountability do we need to hold them? My philosophy on that is that there's a spectrum that we look at them. Are they the type that if you look at them with a stern, strong look, sort of like a parent looks at a child and disciplines a child, what level of discipline will get them to change their behavior? Is it that just the interaction with law enforcement, getting arrested, going to jail, is that the one thing that's going to change their behavior? Or are they on the other end of the spectrum where no matter what you do, they're never going to change their behavior? So it's using your compassion to find out which tool in your toolbox to address the issue, find out where they are in the spectrum so that you can treat the issue, change their behavior, and not have them come back into the system again.
What improvements would you like to see in collaboration among the prosecutor's office, the law enforcement, defense attorneys, and the courts?
Thank you. So 6 years ago when I came from Yakima to the city prosecutor's office here in Ellensburg, one of the things I approached the court with was getting together to have a regular meeting. And because I had some things I wanted to do. I wanted to change how some of our documents worked, or how probation interacted with some things. And so I approached a judge and he said, hey, it's a great idea. So we started doing the bench bar meeting. As Mrs. Todd said, it's not as frequent and as often now, though, as it used to be. So that's one of the things I would do, and I would invite law enforcement so that we could all of us collaborate together. But the biggest thing for me is technology. I would love if we could collaborate better on technology. Right now, the courts are going through this transition into this different filing system that's just really, really hard to work with. It's hard to get stuff in, it's hard to get information out. Also, it'd be nice to have something where law enforcement and the prosecutor's office and defense could all be on the same system for sharing discovery. Right now, it's going through numbers of different ways, through email, through downloads.
Thank you, Mr. Reiman. What do you believe is the most surprising or least understood aspect of the prosecuting attorney's duties for the public?
So when I've been out campaigning, just recently last weekend I was up in Ronald and knocking on doors, and knocked on one door, and the person opened the door, came out and talked to me and just said, hey, what's your philosophy on prosecuting? And so that was such an open-ended question, I wasn't quite sure where to begin, but I found a spot. And I think that's kind of what I've learned is the most least understood thing about the job is what all goes into it. The role, how cases get from investigation to referral to charging to negotiation to sentencing and trial. And so everything along the way is a mystery. And I know at our last forum, one of the things was how are we going to demystify that and inform the public. And I think there's really great opportunities going out into the community to go to the different farmers markets and make yourself available to the public.
Thank you, Mr. Reiman. Okay, we will now move into our closing statements. Each candidate will have 60 seconds. We will start with Mr. Reiman.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. One of the things I want to say is I know I don't have the most signs up. As you look around, I've seen that, I received that feedback. Hey, where are your signs, Aaron? I haven't raised the most money, but what I do have is the most experience. I've got 26 years experience as an attorney. I've also received the best leadership training that money can buy through my 22 years of service to the U.S. military. I was a Navy JAG for 5 years, and then I was with the Coast Guard as an attorney and in other positions for the remainder of my 22 years of service. I'm going to lean on my leadership training to do everything I can to retain and keep the really talented people that are working in that office. And that's going to include, if you vote for me, I want to make Mrs. Todd and Mrs. Hammond both feel like we can all work together and we can stay in that office, because obviously they're both really talented and qualified attorneys. And the office is better with both of them in the office. So I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that everybody feels welcome and can stay in the office.
Thank you, Mr. Reiman.